Good morning, everyone. Reverend Denise here. And welcome to my home, which for today will represent our church, All Paths to God. But soon, we will be able to meet in person at the new Holiday Inn Express on Tico Road, just past the I-75 entrance. So keep your eyes and ears open for Reverend Sue's message when all the details are finalized. It's so exciting. Let's give her a big yippee! And another yippee is to say happy birthday to our October babies. And let me name them all. Victoria Messina, Mary Babinetz, Virginia Baby Girl Dory, Dolores Hart, Ed Verzal, and from our prayer ministry, Virgie Falk. And a happy heavens birthday to my mom, Rita Madigan. And if I missed announcing any name, please know we celebrate you. Happy birthday to all October babies. Yay! And thank you all for joining me. Today I'd like to talk about different ways in which we can elevate our experiences, help ourselves feel better, and maybe give ourselves a bit of a lift during these unsettling times. We all know how important it is to have our energy be more positive. We understand cause and effect, right? So I put together this list of ways that may encourage a positive shift. There's affirmations, seeing the silver lining, expanding on the good we see, letting go of what no longer serves us, and lastly, learning to be enthusiastic. So, let's take a closer look at each way. We'll begin with affirmations. Those are phrases that are uplifting and life-affirming. Now, we can find affirmations just about everywhere. There's tons of books that offer affirmations and affirmative prayers. There also are many online sites that you can find affirming quotes on. Now, once we find one or several affirmations that we can relate to, that speaks to us, I suggest that we print them up and we post them around our home. Put them in places where they will be seen often, again and again, like on the refrigerator door, on our bathroom mirror, the front door, the hallway, even in our car, anywhere prominent. We need to keep reminding ourselves because we are so inundated with negative chatter from society and our environment, but mostly from our own thoughts in our own heads. So to counteract the negative, we need to reinforce the positive. And here's a wonderful affirmation. Day by day, in every way, my life is better and better. Say it with me. Day by day, in every way, my life is better and better. That's great. Now, can you imagine if every morning you wake up and repeat that to yourself? That's a lot of positive energy that will begin your day. And this energy will be influencing everyone throughout your day. Everyone that you come in contact with will feel this energy that is oozing from you. What a force of goodness you will have become. All because of affirmations. Next on our list is the silver lining. That's seeing things from a positive perspective. Now, how many times where something happened and you thought it was going to be the very worst thing that could happen ever? But in the end, you were so thankful that it happened. Maybe the person you were interested in didn't feel the same way. Or maybe you didn't have the courage or the time or the chance to tell them. And you felt that the one got away. But because you were still single, you were invited to a singles dance. And there you really did find your perfect match. Perfect timing. Or maybe you were laid off your job and you were having a hard time finding employment. But with all this time on your hands, you went back to an old hobby that you loved. In the beginning, maybe it was just to focus your attention away from feeling so anxious about not having a job yet. But after a while, people saw what you were creating and began to purchase them. And before you knew it, you were self-employed doing what you love. That's a great silver lining. Being laid off wasn't such a bad thing after all. It's all in how you perceive it, right? Here's a little story about a baby mosquito. This baby mosquito just arrived home from her very first flight. She was so very happy. Her mother buzzed over and asked how she liked her first flight. The baby mosquito, full of joy, bursted out in giggles and said, "It was amazing. As I was flying around, all these people began to clap at me." That's a positive perspective. It's all in how you look at it. Maybe some will see it smashing, others will see it clapping. Next on our list is expanding on the good we see. So in order to expand on the good and grow the kind of experiences we want to enjoy, we need to focus our attention on the good at hand and decrease our attention on thinking, noticing, or rehashing the experiences that we don't want to keep having. We live too long in our past regrets. We need to not only notice and recognize when there is good happening, but then to talk it up, build it up, give it more energy. Not just a passing thank you or a nod of appreciation. For example, let's say you just witnessed or experienced something good, and your response to that was like a small dish of vanilla ice cream. It's delicious, it's yummy, and it makes you happy, but it's kind of small and not very memorable. So your job here is to grow that small dish of vanilla ice cream. Add multiple flavors: strawberry, chocolate, pistachio, chopped nuts, sprinkles, whipped cream, marshmallow topping, hot fudge sauce. You see, we have to stay with that good long enough to really feel it. Expand on the gratitude of it. Feel the blessings of it. Turn that small dish of vanilla ice cream into a triple-decker hot fudge sundae with a cherry on top. You'll think of it often, and you'll want more. The more attention we give to the good, the more we draw like experiences. The longer we stay in a state of gratitude, the more good we will notice. So let's pay attention. Or maybe let's pray attention. Pray without ceasing means to live our life as a prayer, right? By paying attention to the good, we are in a prayer of gratitude, a prayer of blessings. So our intention is to pray attention. And if we are really noticing all the good that is flowing into our life, and we are feeling grateful for all those who are in our lives, and we are saying thank you to life, to nature, to God, with every good we see, then our vanilla ice cream will feel to us as if it was the supreme Dairy Queen Royal Sundae. Now that's expanding the good. Next on our list is letting go. To let go of what no longer serves us. We hold on to way too much of our past hurts and regrets. How can we focus on any good coming into our life if we are filled up with all of the old stuff? There's no room for anything new. I mean, we wouldn't think about keeping our closets filled with the old clothes that we wore as a teenager. I'm sure that they either no longer fit us or are so outdated style-wise that we would never want to wear them. So why keep them all filled in our closet and then have no hangers left over for any clothes that we want to wear now? You see, things that happened have happened. Us holding on to them will not change what has already happened. It's already over. But what can change is our future, if we don't keep dragging our past along with us. That keeps us looking backward. And when we're looking behind, we're missing everything good in front of us. So let's just drop what doesn't serve us and turn our heads forward and see what's right in front of us. What's spread out before us, all the possibilities. When we let go of what was, we begin to see what can be. There's a little story I'd like to share with you about a lizard. Johnny the lizard. He lived between some rocks out in the field. Like all lizards, he loved to lay out on a stone and sunbathe and feel the warmth of the sun and the smoothness of the stone beneath him. He always felt so relaxed, and more than once he fell completely asleep, which can be dangerous for a lizard to fall asleep out in the open. And this one day, it was just that, dangerous. So dangerous that he lost his tail. You see, some kids had come around and caught him, and Johnny could only escape by dropping his tail and running to hide. Shocked and frightened, he listened to the kids laughing at seeing his tail still moving about, even though it was no longer attached to his body. After a while, the kids threw the tail away and left. Johnny came out of hiding and began the search for his tail, wanting to reattach it to its rightful place. However, the fields were so big and massive, and as much as he searched for it, Johnny could find no sign of his tail. He left everything else in his life, devoting himself completely to the search. He forgot about his home, his possessions, his friends, and his family. Days and months passed by, and Johnny kept looking, asking everyone he met along the way whether they had seen his tail. They all just shook their head no. But one day, someone he asked surprisingly replied, "Why do you need two tails?" Johnny turned and saw that after so much time spent searching, he had grown a new tail. What's more, his new tail looked stronger and better than his old one. Seeing this, he realized how silly it had been to dedicate so much time to a problem for which there was no solution. Johnny turned back and headed for home. On his way home, guess what? Yep, he found his old tail. It was dry and dusty and looked absolutely horrible. However, Johnny had spent so much time looking for it, he was happy to find it. And he picked it up and resumed his journey. Soon Johnny met up with a frog. The frog was so surprised and asked him, "Why are you carrying such a horrible-looking old tail when you already have such a lovely tail of your own?" "Because I spent months looking for it," replied Johnny. "You really spent months looking for something so dirty and ugly?" said the frog. "Well, it wasn't so ugly before," said Johnny. "But now it is. Wouldn't you agree?" asked the frog as he hopped away. The frog was right. Johnny still thought of his tail as though it was the same tail he used to have. But in reality, it was now useless to him. Now Johnny finally understood. So he decided to drop his tail right there, leaving with it all his past worries. As he continued his journey, all he took with him were thoughts of the future. Now that's a good example of letting go what no longer serves you. Next on our list, learning to be enthusiastic. Having enthusiasm is really a learned skill. We can learn to be enthusiastic in our life. And the more we focus on this intention, eventually it becomes more of a natural state for us. Ralph Waldo Emerson said, "Nothing great is ever achieved without enthusiasm." Enthusiasm is an activated, positive energy. I'm sure there are times when you can remember being so enthused over something and everything that you did just seemed to go so smoothly and perfectly. And that's because in those moments you are aligned with the vibration of good. You're more in tune with the truth of who you are. Now that energy of good, of God, is always within you. But in these moments of enthusiasm, you are actually experiencing that good God energy, and you are expressing it in what you are doing. The Latin root word for enthusiasm is ethos, meaning divine inspiration, being filled with God. So when you are enthusiastic, you are aligned with positive energy and are expressing fully from your God space. So every day, I want you to look into the mirror and shout out, "I am so full of God." You know, that might be a good way to shift an argument too. Can you see your partner while the two of you are expressing opposing views? And then all of a sudden you shout out, "Honey, you're so full of God." Now that's disarming, right? And at this point now you can focus more on what pulls you together rather than what is pulling you apart. If you can remind yourself that by encouraging enthusiasm, we are being infused with and expressing the God within, more of our life will be lived with joy and peace, with a wonderful sense of calm and rightness. Let's try smiling more and affirming day by day in every way my life is better and better. Let's be like that baby mosquito and perceive things differently. Instead of seeing people and circumstances trying to smash you, imagine it as clapping and applauding for you. Let's pay attention. Live in a state of gratitude and expand the good. Let's learn a lesson from Johnny the lizard. Let's drop our old tales, our old stories, and move forward with only thoughts of the future, thoughts of our possibilities. Let's do our best to be enthusiastic with life and to shout from the very rooftops, I am so full of God. Yeah. These were just a few suggestions to hopefully remind you of the good within you, that you are more powerful than you give yourself credit for. Truly, your life is what you believe it to be. And if you change your focus, you will see things differently. Let's believe in better and be grateful for all the beauty that surrounds us. Just keep doing your best and just move forward, taking one step at a time. Put one foot in front of the other. Every day, in every way, my life is better and better. That's really true. Every day, in every way, my life is better and better because you're in it. Thank you. Namaste.